Okay, welcome on my podcast. I want to podcast something that happened in Zimbabwe. Right. I'm talking to you from Harare City, Harare Town, the capital city of Zimbabwe, in Harare. I'm staying or living in one of the suburbs in my country, in my nation. Right. There's a recent press conference at ZANU PF headquarters in Harare. A recent press conference at ZANU PF headquarters. I know a lot of people are familiar with that building in Harare Town, Harare CBD, called ZANU PF headquarters. So there was a press conference in that building, and gathered there on that day were media people, media companies, media associations, media organizations, these journalists from around Harare and Zimbabwe. One of them asked a question about the movements or the moves or the drive that have been taken recently by this man, Mr. Kudzanai. I hope a lot of Zimbabweans are now familiar with this man, the owner and businessman behind Sakunda Holdings in Zimbabwe. This company, Sakunda Holdings. So this is the man behind that brand, behind that business name, Sakunda Holdings, by the name Mr. Kudzanai. So one of the journalists said, what do you say? So he was asking ZANU PF national spokesperson, Christopher Muchangwa, Mr. Christopher Muchangwa, ZANU PF national spokesperson, like, say, what do you think? What are your honest thoughts or opinions? What are your views? What are standpoints pertaining to the recent moves, recent movements that are being taken or that have been taken by this man, Kudzanai, to ascend into ZANU PF Central Committee, to ascend into ZANU PF Politburo, these ZANU PF bodies that are so respected and highly revered so much. What do you say? Then Christopher Muchangwa, who is the ZANU PF national spokesperson, said, in response to that, let me just say, I know this man is rich. I know this man is wealthy, has got money. It is back and core. Yes, has got the resources and assets around this country, Zimbabwe. It is back and core. Yes. But in ZANU PF, in ZANU PF political party, any individual, whether rich or what, you cannot use money to buy power. You cannot use your resources to lobby for power, to channel yourself power, to convey yourself power and whatever to your side. You cannot do that. And you can't do that. This is how he responded. This man, Christopher Muchangwa, ZANU PF national spokesperson, responded to that question that has been posed or asked to him by this other journalist. Of course, I'll not disclose the name of that journalist. That no, in ZANU PF, we follow rules, we follow regulations, we follow principles that are written down on paper into a book. This is what we follow. And you cannot use your things, money, resources, whatever, your influence from this other side of life, your business side of life, for you to buy power, buy whatever. You cannot do that. You have to undergo the systems, undergo due procedures, protocols, principles, follow everything for you to ascend the realm of power, for you to ascend the reigns of power. You have to follow that. Despite you having money, despite you having resources, despite you having whatever assets at your beck and call. So this is how he diplomatically responded. I don't know if it diplomatically responded or just harshly responded. I don't know which one is the appropriate way to describe his kind of response. But as you are listening to me, of course, you know how to classify, how to label this kind of response. That you can't use money, you can't use resources, you can't use your basic influence, your business acumen, your business whatever, in order to lobby for power, channel yourself for power, or to make yourself available for power within ZANU PF political party. Where in ZANU PF, as an organization, political organization, we've got the rules, principles, protocols to be followed to the letter, to the core, by every aspiring member or by every established member within ZANU PF political party, within ZANU PF political party. So this is how he responded. concerned to the recent moves that have been taken by Kudakwa Chitagwere. Fine. For your own information, maybe you don't have the background issue, don't have the backstory of this issue. So this is the backstory or the background. In some past months, I think from May, June, July, there were some movements or some moves, rather some drives that were taken by this man, Kudakwa Chitagwere, who's believed to be a very good friend of the current president, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa. So this man, Kudakwa Chitagwere, he wanted to be a member of the Central Committee, ZANU PF Central Committee. But then, according to ZANU PF Constitution, ZANU PF rules, protocols, and everything, there are some procedures that he's supposed to undertake first before being taken in as a member of the Central Committee. And by extension, he wanted again to ascend into this ZANU PF Politburo Committee, which are two bodies that are very much respected, very much sacred, and so much revered as far as ZANU PF political party is concerned. And one cannot be taken in as an official member, as a formal member, as a legit member, without undertaking some basic and some background procedures and protocols. So this caused a lot of friction in, let me say rather, ZANU PF, or this caused a lot of friction rather in Zimbabwean space, politically speaking. Like, how come this man wants to ascend to Zambia Central Committee? How come this man is interested in being a member of Zambia Politburo or Central Committee? How come? Where is he coming from? What's happening? So a lot of things were digged out. A lot of things were digged out, fished out, like the way I'm explaining. And I'll just read the news. I'll just following everything on the internet, on the news. So this is rather the backstory that I may want to give to anyone without a backstory or a background as to who is this man, Kudakwa Chitagwere, a businessman in Zimbabwe, behind the brand Sakunda Holdings, this big business company in Zimbabwe, but with the branches all over Southern Africa and by extension in Africa. So this is the man. So politically has got some interest, or is believed to have some interest, to ascend into ZANU PF Central Committee, ZANU PF Politburo. And like I said, these are too much sacred bodies, too much revered bodies, too much respected bodies as far as ZANU PF political party is concerned. So this is the backstory, this is the background as to who is this man, Kudakwa Chitagwere. So Christopher Muchangwa, the ZANU PF national spokesperson, said, no, we know about this man. We understand his background and where he's coming from. We respect him, yes. We know he got the money and everything, but one cannot use money. One can use resources and everything and influence to make itself available for any role, any post within ZANU PF, or to ascend to whatever body within ZANU PF. One cannot do that, despite you having money and everything in life. No, you cannot do that. So this is how Christopher Muchangwa now responded to this issue, or on this matter, when asked by this other journalist at that press conference at ZANU PF headquarters in Harare just recently. I hope now you have the story right now in your mind, in your head. Okay, what are your comments on what I've said, on what I've narrated, on what I've described on this issue? The explanation that I've given, this narration, what are your comments? Bad comments or good comments? Wise comments or stupid comments? Positive comments or negative comments? What are comments? Right, type, drop in the comment section. I'll come and see them out. Let's talk further from there. I'm done talking. Peace out, sharp.